That bill will shape the future of both recreational and medical marijuana regulations here in Big Sky Country. Now here's a breakdown of some of the key provisions from the more than 250-page bill. The bill appropriates about $14 million over the next 2 years to run both medical and recreational marijuana regulation. Growing marijuana in the home would be banned for everyone except registered medical marijuana card holders. And the medical marijuana system would be moved from the Department of Public Health and Human Services to the Montana Department of Revenue. Now, most of the tax revenue from marijuana sales will go to addiction and mental health services and the state general fund. And the bill reserves marijuana licenses for each of Montana's tribes. And while the bill is only in the earliest stages of the drafting process, it's clear it would make extensive changes to the system laid out in the initiative voters approved in November. MTN's Jonathan Ambarian talked to the bill's sponsor and advocates that already have concerns about some of those changes.
The text for the major marijuana reform bill is still going through edits, but Republican Representative Mike Hopkins of Missoula says the main goal of the bill won't change, creating a more controlled, responsible start for recreational marijuana sales.
Do it in the right way so that people feel like their vote at the ballot box was respected, and do it in a way that makes sure that we don't have any repeats of 2004 when we started out with our medical program. And now we got a great medical program, but the original iteration, I don't think the people of Montana really appreciated the green buses running everywhere.
Hopkins is carrying the bill, which Governor Greg Gianforte's administration and the Montana Department of Revenue also had input on. The proposed draft would amend most aspects of Initiative 190. Pepper Peterson of the Montana Cannabis Guild was one of the leaders of the legalization campaign. He says they're most concerned about proposed restrictions on marijuana businesses, like requiring local governments to opt in to having them.
We expect that there's still going to be some opportunity for change that comes up with the bill. And, we're going to be asking folks to come to the Capitol or, get on Skype and make comments about this legislation as it moves forward and look for some positive amendments that can make it more workable.
In the original initiative, around half of the tax revenue from recreational sales would have gone to public lands programs, particularly to conserving wildlife habitat. But Hopkins' bill would redirect much of that funding to substance abuse treatment, as Gianforte has called for. On Thursday, several conservation groups gathered at the state capitol, urging lawmakers to preserve the public lands funding.
Last fall, we all lined up and said, we're all for access. We're all for this additional conservation funding. Now, this is a chance for legislators to step up and show it.
Hopkins said voter initiatives can't bind the legislature on how to spend money. He said there will be other opportunities to fund those priorities.
Even though we might not deal with it quite as directly through the recreational marijuana bill, obviously we have about 1,500 other pieces of legislation working their way through.
Marijuana is likely to be one of the biggest issues of the second half of the legislative session, and several more large bills could still be in the drafting process. In Helena, Jonathan Ambarian, MTN News.
The bill will not have an official number until it is introduced. Hopkins expects that could be sometime next week.